Well, I'm sitting in a situation where I usually start my videos and spend most of the time in my videos looking out at this beautiful panorama out here. And something said, today just look straight in the camera and talk. Face it, face yourself. Yesterday, and over a couple of days, I really faced the fact of what a loving man I am and what a good man, and how it would be right and appropriate for me to have more tenderness and more closeness in my life, because I go around loving all the beings, and I do, and it's just who I am. I guess it was yesterday that the piece that fell into place was, you yourself were so wounded around closeness, mother who wouldn't touch you and father who was distant, that in spite of how much love you have to offer and how much sexual energy you have to offer, you stay alone or choose women who are not going to meet you, like a wife who hid away in not sharing her feelings and wouldn't stay close, and a girlfriend who was not capable of intimacy, totally controlled. She had to run the whole thing. Now, life, through some really extreme measures, stripped away my layer of character armor called dog. My primaries have been dogs for at least 8 years. This morning I thought, why have I been saying 8 years? I think it's been longer than that. Buddy, now 3 years on the road, is probably closer to 10 at least. Well, I'm observing this family. Today I really bellied up to the family, sat at the family table in spite of the fact that it went back and forth between engagement with me and me just observing them together. And I filled in another piece in the puzzle, which is that Sarita, the waitress, is family, not just like family. She's a niece, and she's staying with them. The children in this family are growing up in a really safe cocoon. They have so much safety to become who they are. And now parts of the family are talking about moving to Dallas to be with a sister, another part of the family. And it could be great for them to do that. Who'd you have, man? When it was not safe to live at home after my senior year of college, when my stepfather, who hated me, and I ended up in a physical fight my first night back because he hit my mom, I went and stayed for a while with my grandmother, incredibly narcissistic, who wounded her daughters terribly by not being there for them, and my aunt, who was a total space cadet, not real in any way, shape, or form, and totally toxic relationship between them, with the daughter devoting her life to her narcissistic mother and then dying young of Alzheimer's just as a way to get out of there. So what'd you have? And at the table, I took a risk and said, in my family, the men were all alcoholic because they knew that their women and the Catholic Church disapproved of them. And then the women hated them even more because they were alcoholic. Left no space for me to see an appropriate way, possible way for me to be an okay man. I've been celebrating, I'm celebrating my changes, that's awesome. But I've been, in some ways, dancing and celebrating how alone I've made myself. God made me alone by taking the dogs. I made myself alone by turning my back on everybody from my past. Now, yesterday I yielded on that. Out at the ice cream shop in Vega, I reached out to my 3 most recent, most determined allies. Lee, my buddy for so long, Dennis, my stepbrother from that family that was so horrid, and I think he does not want to hear that. I think he really doesn't want to look at what that chaos was like there. He's not psychological, he's not. And I wish I could talk to him about that, but I can't, because he doesn't have a place to hear it. So, I'm not going to have, it's nice that I'm including them again and we'll talk with them, but no real intimacy is going to happen there either. And it's long distance. Shocked this morning, looking at how painful my childhood was, how little support, how amazing that I came out with anything that was available to be reborn at age 76. And I get to sit around the table, I get to touch it, see what it's like, Latino extended family. And I was saying this morning, well, Appalachia's the same. They have the same values, but right now Appalachia is pretty well destroyed by opioids, meth, opioids, Trumpism. So the bonds that were solid and secure, I mean, it almost seemed like I didn't meet a kid who was with both of their parents anymore. It's like, well, he's almost my dad. He's a little like my dad. So that's Appalachia. No, it's not the same. Mexico, it's the first chance I've had a chance to experience what truly functional, intact families are like. And it's shocking for what I didn't have. And me and my brother repeated the pattern of wives who hated us. Neither of us was alcoholic, but we went Slavic. We married Slavic women who probably each of them will go to their graves hating us. He's been dead for, 7 years, and she still hates him. Sandy and I have been divorced for 40 years, and she still hates me. So we repeated that. So if I were to let myself have an intimate, loving, sweet, safe sexual relationship with someone who's got I don't even know what kind of baggage she has, but she says she likes both of her parents a lot and they're separated, but she likes her dad. Am I willing to let all that get healed and really change? Really have my life be different? Well, that was a loud leaf. That was like a thud. I'm different. And life is just beating me around the head and shoulders to wake up and notice how good I am. And that it would be fine for me to let myself have love. There was that magical period, that 10 years that I look back on when it happened. It did happen. Beautiful lovers, closeness, on top of my as yet unhealed sex abuse. So that was the clinker there, was that much as I seemed to show up, I was not really there yet, but now I am. Yeah, something different could happen now. If I let it, I want to. Yeah.